So why is this? Okay, yes, you want to lie.
We lo- uh hey, welcome. We live, Scooter.
Welcome, everybody. This is Mannn Me Too, the
Man,
second edition. This is the second episode, and we're grateful that whoever is here right now and who will watch this later on, we're just grateful to be here today. Again, this is a podcast, a show that is geared to really give men a voice. Give men a voice. A lot of times we don't speak out on how we feel. A lot of times we don't even feel like we have no one to speak it to. A lot of times we feel that our feelings don't even matter or don't even know how to voice those things. And so this is a platform built by two brothers, two guys that's willing to give men a voice and even for women to understand where we are mentally, how we function, and everything. But it's geared to give every man a voice.
yeah, I mean he said it all. But we're just trying to build a community of men where talking becomes the norm instead of
Yeah.
keeping everything into ourselves and we just bottle everything up until we explode on somebody. So yeah, welcome. Man, me too.
So hopefully everybody's had a good day today. Hopefully everyone's day has flowed smoothly. We're praying for everyone out there in the world that has
Yeah.
been dealing with all the different deaths and all the different things that's going on in the world. We just experienced George Floyd's funerals and memorial services, and all of them were great. It was a sad occasion, but it was we were grateful to be able to celebrate his life and just to be able to tune in to understand what was going on in the world and just to see everyone speaking out against them. Again, so with Man Me Too, again, I want to say this. I said it last episode that this has absolutely nothing to do with the Me Too movement.
Right.
Um, absolutely nothing. So if someone asks, you can let them know that this has nothing to do with the Me Too movement, but it is Man Me Too, and that just simply means we all go through things in life. We all have some of the different things and some similar things that we go through. And sometimes when you get to talking, you realize, man, me too. I go through those same things. So that's what this platform is geared towards.
And I want to just say we encourage everybody who's watching it live to interact with us. We can see the comments. You got a question, you got something that you want to talk about, or whatever it is. Um, just throw it out there. We might pick it up and touch on it, or we might not. It just depends on where we are. Okay.
And also, if you do have questions and say we don't get to answer those questions on this live because we have a lot of things going on, you all can send those questions to man with three N's. Everybody say man with three N's. So
And with three.
MANNN, man me too. So MANNNMETOO at gmail.com. If you send those to our Gmail, send them to our email, we can get them and we can read some of those off. If you all want it to be anonymous, that's fine. We don't have to say who it came from, but if you want a shout out, we will give you a shout out as well.
Yep.
Maybe you are a man who doesn't want everybody to know exactly who is saying asking the question. We won't say who it is. But if you, like I said, if you want a shout out, we'll definitely give you a shout out. So thanks again. All right, so with today's episode, we want to start this episode out like we did last time with just a simple
Just a,
icebreaker. We want you all to be in the comments. Comment. Tell us what you're thinking. Tell us what your options are, and let's have a conversation. So let's start out with the game. Would you rather? All right. So would you rather? What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Carl. I'm going to ask you a question of would you rather, and those who want to comment in the comments, you all can comment and tell us what you would rather do. All right, everybody ready for the first one?
Let's
Are you
go.
ready, Carl?
Let's
All
get
right.
it.
So the first one is: would you rather be too hot or too cold?
Oh, this easy. Because your boy out here picking up a little weight. It's way easier to warm yourself up than it is to cool yourself down. I'd rather be too cold.
Okay.
Any day. Any day. I could put on
Any day?
I could put on layers on top of layers to warm up. When you hot, you can't get no nakeder. And you still gonna be hot.
Yeah, that's how
You
I
just gonna be
feel.
laying there just hot, just sweaty, hot. And man, I can't take hot. It's too much. I think I was outside the other day and the back, you know, when the sweat run down your back, you feel it. I was like, oh no, this is too much. I think I went and sat in the car. I was like, I can't do it.
Man. So for me, it's definitely I'd rather be too cold. For one reason, my wife has been keeping our house cold since we've been married. And so I think I've become immune to being cold. Even in the office, they just fixed, I guess, our air. And in the office at work, it's been extremely cold. And most people that normally have like a heater on or are cold, they're sitting there, they're freezing. And I'm like, this
You
feels
good.
good to me.
Right. You good.
So I used to work construction and I used to be out in the heat no matter what the temperature was. And so with that, I don't mind sweating. Amber put in the comment nakeder. You funny, Carl.
You can't get no naked.
No nakeder. Okay, so as long as I'm moving around and I'm sweating, I think I'm okay. But I'm miserable if I'm sitting there or if I'm at home or at a house and it's hot or I can't do nothing. That's when I'm just completely frustrated. I'd rather be too cold and too hot. If you too cold, you can always throw layers on. You can always get a blanket. You could always do any of those things to kind of warm your body up. So, I mean, it is hard. Don't get me wrong. Again, working the construction job that I work, I was outside when it was freezing cold outside. And it's like when your hands are cold and your feet are cold, it's almost like death.
Yeah.
But I'd rather
But you
be
can put
cold
on
than hot.
gloves. You can put on wool
Yeah,
socks. You can.
that's true. Yeah,
It'll
when you
help.
hot, there's nothing you can do about it. It's
Nothing.
just like I don't know if you remember that one summer that everybody's electric went out. Well, I know like majority of the people in the St. Louis region, the electric went out. And so I remember it being so hot. And what I did was I just went and laid in the tub with some cold water. And then I think I went to work early that night because at my job at the time that I was working, they had air. I mean, they had air and electric. So I was
You
like, I'm
just
just
went
going
to
to go to
work
work
early.
early.
Like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah, but while I was at home, I said, I'm just going to lay in this tub with the cold water running because being hot is horrible. What y'all say in the comments? Most people said too cold.
Too cold. Yeah.
We got one that say too hot. Yeah. All right. So are you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
All right. So the next one is: would you rather be able to teleport anywhere or be able to read everyone's mind?
Oh my goodness. Oh. I think I'm afraid to be able to read everybody's mind. Because you don't know what you're going to get.
Like you sure right.
Man, but I sure would like to know what some people think. A lot of times. But I don't know if I'm ready for it. But
man,
a lot of times come home from work, I'd be like, man, I wish I had a teleportation device. I would just be at home right now. Oh, that's hard. I'm gonna go with teleport because I don't think I'm ready for everybody's thoughts.
Yeah.
Can
you imagine if you could read everybody's thought?
It might affect me too much. I'd be like, what? That's what you think? Like, I'd be ready to fight, bro. Like,
imagine just being at church and you thinking everybody's mind is on God and on the word and on praise and worship, and you get to reading people's mind. They thinking about all type of stuff.
You hear that?
That was
You can't even focus. You like that's what you thinking about right now?
right.
Yeah, that's too
For
much.
me, I would definitely, I would want to teleport. I don't know about you, but I grew up watching Power Rangers,
Oh
and
yeah,
so
it's Morphin.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and we used to play that as kids, but I always wanted to be able to teleport myself. Man, can you imagine not having to travel,
No
not
commute
having
at
to drive to
all.
work, not
Right.
having to drive out of the country, or I don't know. I definitely would want to be able to teleport myself versus read everybody's mind. Like you said, I don't even think I would be able to function if I could read everybody's mind, because my mind would be all over the place because I'm trying to hear what everybody else will see. But it would be kind of
you'll be the
fun.
only person in the room like laughing. Like people don't know why you laughing. Like
Exactly.
and then you might look crazy. Like you gonna be the one out here looking crazy. But you know every crazy person in the room. But you the one that's gonna look crazy.
Man.
So yeah, that's too much. I don't even want to know. I can only imagine half of what people be thinking. And if I truly knew, it would just be, oh my goodness. Oh.
Well, Maurice Terrell put read minds because I'm too nosy and I like to see what people really think about you and others.
You got to be ready for that though, because when they think
Yes.
that thought about you gonna be ready to fight.
Right. You got a whole attitude with them and they don't even know why. It's like,
right.
I know what you really think about me.
Right.
All right. So most people said teleport. All right. So let's move on. All right. This is a good one right here. Would you rather be feared or loved?
Ooh, we talking like fear, like they scared like Debo, or we talking like reverence?
Either one, you decide. Feared or loved?
If everybody just look like it's genuine love, like it ain't like phony.
It's up to you.
I mean, if it's genuine love, I think I would rather have that. And,
Okay.
and it's not based on nothing I do, right? It's just everybody love me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd rather have people love me than when I walk in the room, everybody just get quiet or turn the other way. Or I feel like I don't know, that'd be strange.
Mm-hmm. I think for me, I would rather be loved as well. I mean, I like what you said about fear from a reverence standpoint. I mean, I think we will all want to be reverenced and shown, some type of. But I
Right,
think that comes along with love. So I would rather be loved.
right.
All
Because
right, let's move
even
on.
with reverence, it's like
Go
people
ahead.
still might treat you like
They might can't stand you, right?
or they might. I mean, they still might be real cautious of and not be they self around you, like. So yeah.
Right. So before we move on, I just want to thank everybody who is on this live right now. I want you all to share this. Share it with somebody. Share it on your Facebook platforms or whatever platforms you all are logged in, whether you're on YouTube or you're on Facebook. Share this with somebody so they can tune in and they can come into the conversation. Also, before we move on, I want you all to, and I would say this later as well, but I want you all to go to our YouTube page. And it's just simply man with 3 N's, Mannn Me Too. And I want you all to like, comment, and share these videos. And also, I want you all to hit that notification bell and click on hit all. So every time we upload something or every time we put up content, you all will get content on what Mannn Me Too is doing. All
Yes,
right, so let's
sir.
move
Yes,
on.
sir.
We almost done. We almost done with these questions. All right. So the next one is: would you rather be hungry or thirsty? One or the other.
Uh,
Say you have to be one of these. Pick which one.
I'm leaning towards hungry, but I don't. Yeah, being thirsty just feel I don't know, but maybe because I try to drink a lot of water, so like I could drink water all day and not eat anything if I'm like busy. I won't even think about food. So
okay.
yeah, I think I would rather be hungry because
I think this one is a mixed one. Some people saying hungry, some people saying thirsty.
yeah.
Oh, that's a hard one
What you
because when you hungry, I think for most people when they're hungry, their
they angry.
attitude changes. They're aggravated.
Yeah.
Anything can kind of tick them off. But
Easily, yeah.
yeah. But when you're thirsty, it's almost like you're dying in a sense.
Right.
Like I need something to drink right now. Have you ever been thirsty and drank like some soda or some juice and it just didn't
It
quench your
didn't
thirst?
do it. Yeah. It's
Man.
like drinking something hard. Like
And it tastes good, but it's like it just did not quench your thirst. And it's to me it's crazy how something with no taste can taste so good when you're thirsty.
Right. Yeah. Because I can drink a big cup of water. I was trying to get somebody's attention to bring me a cup of water right now.
All right, let's move on to the last one so we can move on because we 16 minutes in. All right, so the last one is, would you rather always have to tell the truth or always tell a lie?
Oh, that's easy. Who want to just walk around lying all day? Like, because then once you start lying, you got to cover your lie with, well, I guess you said walk around lying all day. That's usually how it happens. Huh? Once you tell a lie, you got to tell another lie to cover that lie. So, no, I'd rather just be truthful, man. Even if it's harsh sometimes.
Okay, that's where I was going with it because, sometimes the truth can be harsh. What if, one of your kids bring you a Father's Day gift, something that they made, and they're like, Daddy, what do you think of it? And
Wait,
like,
but do you have to comment? Can't you just be like, oh, thanks?
But what if they ask you, Daddy, do you like what I gave you?
Like,
do you like what I gave you?
Somebody asks you, then you gotta...
Right. What you gonna say?
What you think, Daddy? Pretty nice.
Yes, you did a good job. You gotta be find a way around it.
Right.
All right. So
at least you picked a good day to give it to me, son. Thanks a lot.
Gotta comment on something else. Man,
right.
That's some nice paper you used. Where did you find this at? All right, so most people are saying truth.
Truth, yep.
Truth is I'm tired. Options are few.
Come on, somebody singing that in my house today. Come on, man.
No, but I think I would rather tell the truth as well. Sometimes the truth is a hard pill to swallow and a hard pill to give to others, but I think it'll ultimately help the person or help you versus lying to them. I mean, if I got dirt on my face, I would rather you tell me the truth than I walk out and with dirt on my face, So.
Anything.
All right, so most people said truth. All right, so for tonight, our topic is really kind of geared around being an entrepreneur or owning your business, or just talking about creating a conversation on how we can better support one another, how we can get started in that vein of being an entrepreneur or owning our own business, and how to really just do it in excellence. Right. So, Carl, what do you have to say about that?
So I think this whole topic came about, correct me if I'm wrong. We were talking about, with all the stuff going on in the world, how, people are kind of, I don't want to say pressuring, but like putting it out there that, if you come out of this epidemic without something that you like doing yourself, like if you like, it's almost sometimes it almost feels like people are shaming people into like coming out of a tough situation with something new. When what if you are honestly struggling through this time? Like what? Like right. I don't feel like it's you have to. It's more of, if you're in the right space, this is a good opportunity. So I kind of wanted to look at it from that point of. We're not saying that you have to be an entrepreneur or that you have to have a side hustle or whatever. But if that's what you desire, this is a perfect environment for it, even though, because, and I just want to talk about myself for a second. So when all of this started, I have a little side hustle that's growing, and in that moment, it looked like the world was coming to an end. I'm just telling you how I felt. So I was like, man, shut it all down. Nobody's trying to buy nothing extra right now. Everybody getting laid off, but that's just me being carnal, I guess, not thinking what God has in store for us. And as my wife pushed me out there, like, it's busier than it's probably ever been, even in these times. So I wouldn't let like a situation or circumstances around you dictate whether or not you're going to make that move or not. Because I mean, God is still God at the end of the day.
That's right. Yeah, I definitely think that it popped in my head the other day when we were kind of talking about it. I was like, I think that we need to learn to give people the grace to grow. Can everybody hear me? All right, so we need to learn to give people the grace to grow. A lot of times, we want to kind of give people a true definition of this is how things have to go. Can you all hear? All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, so anyway, I think that it's important that we give people the grace to grow. None of us learn how to do things right away the first time all the time. You know what I'm saying? When we first learned how to ride a bike, we didn't get on that bike and just start pedaling and just take off. We had to fall sometimes. We had to gain our own balance. I'm sure he'll be back in a minute. But I think it's important that we give people the grace to grow. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were talking about churches, and they were talking about how we've been out of church all this time, or we haven't been able to come to the physical building and all this time, and some preachers are coming back with the same word and um and the same songs from praise team and same this and same that. And it's like, where I understand that, just because we went into a pandemic does not mean that everybody went into it with the same situation and same thing. For some of us, we were extremely busy before the pandemic, and so that pandemic slowed some of us down. And within the pandemic, I believe that it kind of put in some of our minds, okay, we got to learn how to deal with our family. Some people haven't dealt with their family, with their wives or their children or their spouses or whoever, on the level that we've had to deal with them ever. You know, besides when children are babies and people have to look after those babies 24/7, and you don't know. I mean, you know, they can't do anything on their own. But I believe that with this pandemic, it slowed some people down who were going too fast. It definitely slowed me down because I had things planned. Like right now, I'm actually would have been on a cruise right now, but because of the pandemic, we had to cancel that. We had to, you know, not go on it. But for me, I've always been a person that I've push myself until I'm dead beat tired. And I believe that part of it for me was to slow me down so I can get the proper amount of rest, so I can make sure that I'm healthy, make sure that I'm spending the right amount of time with my wife. All of those things, I think that's important. And so I think we need to give people the grace to grow because everybody's not in that same place. Some people did come into the pandemic where they were already slowed down, and so they were able to reach into new ventures and to look into new things and to dive into new
All right,
things.
I'm back.
You back. All right, so I was just telling them how I think it's important that we
Can't
give
hear
people
you.
the
Hold on.
grace. You can't hear me?
No. It was on mute.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
All right, so I was telling them that it's important that we give people the grace to grow. A lot of times, um, everybody didn't come into this pandemic the same way. You know what I'm saying? Some
True.
people, like I was
Yep.
telling them, some people like myself, we're moving extremely fast. I was doing so much stuff, and it slowed me down. And for some of us, we had to learn how to slow down. We had to learn how to just sit with ourselves. And like that's one of my
Yep.
questions for anybody who's listening. Like, when was the last time you actually sat with yourself? When was the last time you actually learned about yourself? Like for most of us, we used how we function around the world as a way to kind of push in the back of our minds what's going on in our life. And so that we have conditioned ourselves to just keep going and going and keep working and keep moving and keep grooving. And we got to get this money, got to get all the money, got to do this, got to do that. And for some of us, God just wants to slow us down and say, look, slow down, learn who you are. For some of us, we were able to venture into new ventures, learn some stuff about ourselves, and actually be creative. For some of us, we had to, get with our families and learn more about our families. Like I was telling the people on the live, some people have never dealt with their families, whether it be their children or their spouses, on the level that they have to deal with them now, because most of the day, people are normally gone away from home. And
Right.
so to have to come to stay at home and be around your family, be around your children, actually be the teacher, you know what I'm saying? Actually, so for some people that's a hard thing. And so I think for most of us had to adjust to that. And so to expect people to, well, man, when you come out of this, it's sad if you come out of this and you don't have a new business adventure, or if you come out of this and you don't have nothing going for yourself. But some people, they just have to learn how to rest.
Yep.
And so, so it's important though. I mean, like you said, if you do have the opportunity or the time to really dig into some stuff, I think that it's important that we do not just be lazy. That's so important, not just to be
Right.
lazy and not be productive, but find
Mm-hmm.
something in there that you can be productive in, even though you may be sitting at home. Like for me,
Right.
I
Yeah.
took the initiative to doing work on my basement. I didn't wait on nobody else. I went to Home Depot, I'm sorry, and got the materials that I needed. I started laying floor, I started painting, I started doing all these things so I can improve my home, because most of the time, like now, I've been at work for 8 hours out of the day. Gone for, from 8 to 10 hours out of the day. And so when I get home, it's like I don't feel like doing that type of work.
I
And I
feel
think that
like
was the
doing
case
it. Right.
for most of us. And so I took that time to say, you know what, I'm going to start on this stuff that I've been wanting to do. So, I've been doing backsplashes, I done did floors, I done did painting, I done did
Hey, put a
walls, I done put
man.
up new walls
You
and
gonna get me
everything.
in trouble, school. Hold on.
But I did that because, first of all, I want to see things done in my own home, but I don't want to be
Yeah.
just a lazy person just because I may be off for the moment, or I may be at home for some time and I just don't do nothing. Like, it's important, even venturing into going into being a entrepreneur or a business owner. I think it's a setup so you can learn how to
It is.
function. You know what I'm saying? And I think working 9 to 5 jobs are a great way to structure us for being an entrepreneur, because it pushes you to make sure that you're on time. It pushes you to
Yep.
make sure that you're doing things diligently. It pushes you to do things in excellence, especially when you have somebody looking after you.
Excellent.
And so
Yep. You
I
got
think,
somebody over your shoulder. Yep.
yeah, I think in order to really kind of be an entrepreneur or a business owner, I think you have to have that mentality, because once you dig into that on your own and you go into that full time, you don't have nobody calling you telling you, hey man, you got to get up, you got to clock in, you got to make this work, because if you don't put nothing in, you're not gonna get nothing out. And
Yep.
so,
Mm-hmm.
I just think as men and people around the world, if you take nothing else from this conversation that we're having tonight, whatever you put in is what you're gonna get out. I think that's most
Yes, sir.
important, and that's with anything in life. You can't expect for something. You can't expect for your body to change if you don't go to the gym and work out. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we say that,
Mm-hmm.
but we kind of have the mindset that we just expect things to change, and it just don't happen like
Yep.
that. And so you can't expect your business to take off. You can't expect for money to just pour in and revenue to pour in, and you don't put anything out
And
to fuel that.
you laying in the bed all day wishing for it. Yeah.
Right, right. So what you got to say about that, Carl?
So I think that this is a perfect environment to start that type of thing if you want to, but just know it's not like it's going to take work. It's going to be hard in the beginning because we tend to look at other people's finished products,
Yes, sir.
think that we're going to start where they are basically finished. Like they've probably been running this company for 10, 20 years, see them operating at a good pace, and we think, oh, we just gonna jump in and we gonna be right there where they at, and it's day one for us, and this day who knows for them.
For them,
So
right.
I think that's another thing that us as people, we have to know, don't get discouraged too early, because I know a lot of people start things and it tend to not look how they want it to look initially, and they just let it go. Like you got to stick in there if you really want this thing to work, because nothing really happens overnight unless you just listen, God can do it, but that's typically not how it works. Like,
Right.
typically there's a process. There's a process you have to walk through. There's steps you need to take, and even in that process, you see it from the outside. It looks like I need A, B, C, and D, and you don't know that there's an A1, an A2, 3 under that A that you
Yes,
need
sir.
to take it into, and like you can't let that throw you off. Like and I really want us as a people, because going through all of this stuff, like like I was scrolling through my timeline and it looked like everybody that I saw was like, oh, I'm starting a business, doing this, doing this, doing that. And I was saying, I want everybody that I know to have something like that if that's what they desire. Because like it would be great for us to build a community to where we really don't have to go outside of our community for anything. Like that would be a great thing. Like you were talking about that support in the beginning. Like if we really came together to support each other like that, I feel like that would be an awesome move.
Right. I definitely agree. Uh, I definitely think it'll be awesome if we can come together and really just kind of push past being jealous, push past envy, and all of those things, or kind of jealous because somebody else is maybe a little ahead of where we are. If we can push past those things and come together, I think that we could possibly really change this world. We can change our environment. We can change our neighborhoods. We can change how things even come from us, or who come to us for what we can put out. But like you were saying earlier, it's so important
Right.
that we don't look at somebody else's finished product and either get mad because ours don't look the
Mm-hmm.
same, or it didn't happen as fast for us, or any of those things. I think it's so important to take the steps. I know we're in this
Yep.
instant world where we have, Instagram, you have things instant, everything is microwave so fast, but as fast as things can go up, the same as fast they can go down. So I think it's important, where all the technology is taking place, it's still important sometimes to take the steps. And when I say take the steps,
Yep.
sometimes when you take the steps, if you look at the whole staircase, it looks overwhelming because it's like, man, I got to get from down here all the way up 24 steps. But it's important to take the step one step at a time. Don't try to, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if you ever been a kid, when you were a kid, rather. When I was a kid, we used to try to jump up several steps at at one time. We'll skip over some steps, and I think we kind of take on that ideology in life, and we try to jump over steps. And when you jump over steps, you miss things. You know what I'm saying? And you also go ahead.
You slip and miss that step and hit your knee. Hey, that'll teach you a good lesson.
Right. So take
Instead
one
of
step at a time.
Trying to jump over.
Like find what plan. Like if we're gonna start businesses, we have to plan things out. And with planning things, you have to plan for if or when things are gonna go wrong. If there are anybody in this live that has done anything on as far as having a business or doing anything on your own, I'm sure I get a whole bunch of witnesses that there are things are going to go wrong. You know what I'm saying? And so it's important that you plan just in case. Have a backup for everything. If you plan for such and such to run this portion of it, have a backup for that, because something just may happen where either that person won't show up, or even prep it almost to the point where you can step in and make sure that it's done if you've given that to somebody else and they can't do it. So planning is so important, and taking the steps. Like you got to take it one at a time. I was thinking about my single that I put out in last October, I believe. Don't quit. Shameless plug. Anyway, I put that out, and I'm sure a lot of people listen to it and listen to the finished product or seen the finished graphics. And some people probably said, man, if he did it, I can do it. I can do this, or I can record my video. Like I recorded a video. So a lot of people was like, man, if he can do it, then I can record a video. But I'm sure a lot of people don't understand what it took and all the time that it took putting in for that. You know what I'm saying? For that to come to the place that it did. And it was so much prep that went into it. One day I had to go in and lay down a scratch vocal. The next day I had to go in and lay down all the background vocals. The next time I had to go in and do lead vocals. The next time I had to listen to the mixing and the mastering. And then I had to wait for a certain amount of time for the music to get done. Then after that, it was a whole process. And then after that, I had to make sure that things are copywritten. Things, you know what I'm saying? So it's so important to take those steps so you can have things in place. Imagine if you walked up some steps and steps were missing. You wouldn't want to keep continuing on those steps if things are missing. So it's important that you take those steps, no matter how annoying it may be to take the steps when you see somebody taking the elevator, or how annoying it may be to take the steps and you see somebody on the escalator and they not even moving their feet, but they just going up the ladder.
Not even taking right.
But Bree Young put on there that we have to crawl before we walk. And a lot of times people don't want to take those necessary steps to actually learn. I don't know no babies that just went from laying there just to up and start walking. Hey, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, I'm out. If that ever happens, I'm out.
I'm sure most of the kids in the world went from being a baby that can't move, can't sit up, then they learn how to sit up on their own. Then they learn how to hold their body. Yep. Then they learn to crawl a little bit. Then they got put into a walker and learn how to move their feet. And then they got to the point where, okay, let me try to stand up on my own. They start pulling up on stuff. And then they start to walk, it's so important that we take all of those steps when it comes to having a business.
All of those steps.
Learn as much. I love babies. They show us so much and people miss it. They show us so much. Like they never just go from one thing to another. And I know a lot of times parents want, man, I can't wait till my kids start talking. And then when they start talking, it's like, would you shut up?
Right.
kids take the necessary the steps, and I love that about children because they're continually learning. Like they're always learning, and I think when we get older, we kind of want to grab it and go with it. We want to
Yep.
grab it and think that we know it all and go with it, and we mess up every time. So you can go ahead.
And that goes back to that microwave mentality that we all have. We think everything should come overnight. Everything should be an instant success. Everything should be
Mm-hmm.
how I want it when I want it. Life is not Burger King if y'all don't know,
Can't have it
So
your way. But look at the time that we
you can
live
have
in,
it.
though, man.
You can have it your way, but it's gonna turn out your way too, which is not
Right.
always what you want. Like it's gonna, hey, you're gonna
But
be
look at
ran
the
yourself into a
society that we
wall.
live in. The world that we
Yeah,
live in kind
I
of
mean,
push everything to be fast, quick. Like nowadays, like back in the day, you used to have to actually put in work to become famous. Nowadays, if you can
yeah,
just put out a tweet, make a video that goes viral overnight or in
go
a few
viral
hours,
overnight. You famous.
you have
Yeah,
you're instantly famous.
yeah.
And so a lot of times with that, we miss those steps and we wonder how we have, one hit wonders or, those people that were in the limelight for only a few minutes, a few seconds, a few hours, a few
Mhm.
years, and then you don't see them no more. And a lot of times we see
Because,
those people and we think, oh, because they're famous, that they're wealthy or they're rich, and a lot of them aren't. You
but
know,
it's real important because if you don't lay that correct foundation, that baby gonna come crashing down every
woo,
time.
you said a good word,
Like,
sir. Foundation.
like that instant success where you had no process, you put in no work, that it's only gonna last for a while. Like you gotta lay that proper foundation so that even if you do get knocked over, it ain't gonna be a complete loss. You can still come
Man.
back, man. So
Yes, sir.
when everybody think, oh, I'm gonna get Oprah to endorse me, and then I'm gonna blow up. Hey, you might not be ready for that Oprah endorsement because
That's right.
when the floodgates open and your production ain't fast enough to hit it, then you can still get knocked off. So you got it's back to that process, man. You got to take into account everything to ensure that you can withstand whatever's coming.
Okay, so Carl, we have a question out
Yeah,
there. It says, so what do you define as success?
I think that's a
Mm,
personal opinion because not everybody wants to be um, Ralph Lauren or whoever the top of the top is. Like a personal success could be I started a business to give an opportunity to 5 young boys in my local area to help mentor and help them grow. Like success
right,
is what you think it is. It's not a milestone that it doesn't have to be a milestone that society puts on you because once you start listening to society and what their success is, then you gonna get thrown off already. Like that's a bad track to start on in the first place. So if your success is to be the next Ralph Lauren or uh, Beyonce or Jay-Z, then that's what your success is. But if your success is I'm gonna help 10 youngsters that I know, mentor them, give them a job, give them an opportunity to get out of a situation that they may get carried down in. Who says that that's not successful? That's still
right.
successful, right?
That's true.
So, I mean, what you think success? What would you define it as?
Well, Frank Davis said the process is more important than the product. And I think that
Yeah.
is so important to just simply, to me, to be successful means that you actually enjoying what you're doing. You know, if you're only doing it just for the money and you don't really have a passion for it, you're not gonna do it to the best of your ability. You're gonna do it just for the money, and eventually, that the little bit of passion that you may have for it is gonna die out if you don't really enjoy the process. You know, really learn in the process. I think that's where success is. Success is not necessarily comparing yourself to others. Like you just said about the whole, you know, it's okay to have influences and people who, you know, you that things you want to aspire to be, but don't compare yourself to them. Because first of all, you don't know what they had to go through to get to where they are. You don't know what
Right.
hardships. People don't tell you everything. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Right.
even
They
with
don't.
Tyler Perry, we know that he was homeless at one time. We knew he had to sleep in his car, you know, but we don't know every single detail that he went through, you know, that brought him to the place that he is today. And so
Right.
if you compare yourself to them, you're gonna always come up short.
You will.
Even as even you know, even with our walk with Christ, it's important that we don't compare ourselves to somebody else. Because you don't know what they had to go through to get to where they are. You know what I'm saying?
You
And
don't. You don't.
I think that's what we mess up. We oh man, Carl, he got this business. Man, look at him, man, and I ain't doing this. That'll lead you as a man right into depression.
It will. For
Because
sure.
you're gonna be so focused on what somebody else is doing that you maybe even not even paying attention to the little successes that you actually have. Like it's so important to have small victories. We everybody want the big victories, but what about the small ones? You know what I'm saying? The small victories. That's even with
Busy
us.
looking
Like
at somebody else. Too busy looking at somebody else. Cereal bowl. As like one of my directors that I used to work for used to be like, when one of his kids would like complain, oh, they have more or do that. Like, hey, keep your eyes on your own cereal bowl, man. Like, it's
man,
good to have inspirations, but you overlooking all the little milestones you knocking down because instead of being inspired by this person, you letting them intimidate you or knock you down. You know, so you got to keep your
man.
eyes on your own cereal bowl, man. Because
That's so good. That speaks so many volumes because a lot of times we so focus on what the next person is doing. We so focus on what we see, and what you see sometimes is not always what it is. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Sometimes we can see something and think, man, that's the life. But that person is really
yep,
miserable. That person is really depressed. That person is really contemplating suicide. That person really feel lonely. All those type of things. And but what they're putting out to the public is that everything is great. And so sometimes when you focus on what other people are doing, like I said, you miss your own blessings, you miss your own milestones, you miss your own small victories. And it's so important that you pay attention to those things. Because, like I said earlier, Frank said it's important that we, endure the process and enjoy that process versus just enjoying the end product. Like,
right.
it's so crazy that we kind of focus on the product of life instead of looking at the process. That's what we learn. That's what we learn the most. You know what I'm saying? In that process, because the
The
thing,
process is what's gonna build you. That's what's gonna
right,
make you. Like that process,
right,
the process is going that's what's gonna prove you. The end result may come or it may not, but that process is what's building you up to withstand whether you make it or not. Like
right,
that, you
and
are
I
made in the process.
right, and I just think as a man that it's important to have a mentor and a mentee. And if I'm with my mentee and they're saying, "Hey, Scooter, how did you do this album or how did you do this single?" and I just give them the album, that didn't help them. You know what I'm saying? But if I could take them
No
through the
process.
process of the things that I had to learn, or when I did this, I failed in this place, or the process is so important. But we try to jump over that. We try to look past that. But I think it's important, like I said, to have a mentor and a mentee. That's how you keep that cycle going. Somebody who you can
Yeah.
gain something from, and somebody you can pour something into. You know what I'm saying? But if us as men don't have that, that's why I like platforms like this, where people can learn and people can engage in conversation. Because if you don't have someone to pour into, that means you keeping everything within you. And
Yeah.
and you have nobody pouring into you, then that means what you're pouring out is emptiness. You're not giving anybody that's anything that's of any substance. And so it's important to have somebody who can pour into you and somebody you can pour into. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
going back to okay, before we
It
go
look
there, go ahead.
it looked like we got another good one. Question.
Okay, go ahead.
How do you not sacrifice your family or life in the process of starting your own business?
Woo. You want me to
That's
go first?
tough.
Yeah, that's very
Yep.
tough. Because
That's tough.
honestly, you gonna sacrifice
The whole I
somewhere.
the whole idea of balance is
There's no such thing. I mean,
what?
we can work towards it, but it's gonna be a balance in that. And
It,
you're not gonna if you're not gonna be able to make every game of your kid. You know what I'm saying? Or of your child. You're not gonna be able to make everything when you're trying to accomplish something. And so it's hard to do those things and try to balance all those.
it's I would say unless I don't know, to have everything perfectly balanced, like I give this the same amount of time to this as I give to my wife, as I give to my kids, like that's almost kind of unrealistic. But I think there are reasons when you can say, okay, I'm a focus more on this in this season, and then kind of balance out where I was lacking in it last season. So it kind of has that because listen, you one thing you don't want to do is be public success in a private. You don't want to be on top of the world and your home tore up. So
That's the worst.
at some point, you're gonna have to take her home, and whether you forced into it or whatever. But the idea that everything is going to be perfectly balanced throughout all of this, that's probably not realistic. But
Right.
you can make the effort to say, okay, I was lacking in that for a minute, so let me focus on this right now for this time, and then kind of balance it out that way. But yeah, every day you got it perfectly balanced.
Yeah.
That's tough.
I will say that although it's really tough to balance things, it's still important to have a plan
It
with
is.
anything, because if you go into anything blindly or go into anything on just, oh man, I'm gonna do this and then I figure that out tomorrow. You have to have a plan, some type of
Right.
plan, even if you don't stick to it completely. You know what I'm saying? It's so important to have some
Right,
type
right.
of guideline down, so you can have something to look off of, and how if somewhere to kind of try to balance yourself a little bit, even though
Mm-hmm.
we can't balance everything, but it's important. And then going back to having that mentor and that mentee type of thing, it's important to have somebody that can hold you accountable for the things and the actions and the ways that you
Accountability.
move.
Yep.
Accountability is so missing in our culture. It's so missing amongst our the black people, even the white people. Don't get me
And,
wrong,
and and
but
most definitely for men, because us as
definitely.
men, I will speak from experience. There's been time when I seen one of my brothers falling, and I'd be like, bro, I don't even know how to approach him because like you never know how guys are. Like you could
Man,
you could approach a guy about something, and they be like, bro, you don't know, or they may be receptive to it, but it's so unpredictable as men. Sometimes you don't even want to touch it. Like you don't even know how to approach it in a way to because if they flame up, it's gonna be automatic. Like, hey man, I ain't even come for all that.
Right.
But it is so important to have somebody who can hold you accountable. But us as men, every man ain't open to it. But hey, if it was a perfect world, that would be something that I would definitely want to see. Like, every guy hook up with somebody that you can hold them accountable, they can hold you accountable.
That's a good challenge, man. I think that's something that would help change the sculpture of our society, especially among the men, because our society has built this. I want a yes man, or a man corner. But you need somebody to tell you when you out of line. You know what I'm saying? Of course, in the right context, in the right way. But it's so important to have that accountability partner there. And so that'll be great if we could, get somewhere where we can actually make that happen. Like, I think that would be great, because sometimes the person next to you may know a little more than you. But in order for that to happen, we're gonna have to lay down our pride. And that pride thing, and I get it. With social media, I think it has messed up everything. And I love social media because of platforms like this. But I think it's giving everybody an opinion, if that makes sense. And so it's so hard to even put out content or put out any type of thing, because you have this fear that everybody's going to judge you. And so, but within that judging, some people have good intentions, and so you have to weed through those people and learn who those people are, so they can continue to hold you accountable. But as long as we walk around like, I don't need nobody, don't know, you're never going to get anywhere. We're going to continue to have that crab in the barrel mentality, because I can do it all by myself. And that's kind of one thing that we as men kind of deal with. I know I deal with. It's like, and I'm really trying to work towards that, because I will almost suffer in silence before I ask anybody for help. You know what I'm saying? And so, but we have to lay down the pride and say, hey, Carl, man, I'm over here struggling in this area. Can you pray for me? Can you help me? What do you suggest? You know what I'm saying? But it's going to take for us to not only be accountable, but to be people who we can confide in as well. You know what I'm saying? When people come to me and tell me stuff, my wife will tell you, I don't tell her everything that people say to me, because sometimes people just want to come and really vent and get out how they feel, and know that it's with a person who's not going to take back their business or talk about, you know what I'm saying? So I don't. So a lot of people, when they come to me, I don't tell nobody about it. I either pray about the situation or I talk to them about it, and kind of encourage them. But I think, like I said, not only should we be accountable, but we have to be a person that can confide in us in order for that to happen. Because I may come to you with some real deep stuff, you know what I'm saying? But I gotta know in my heart that you got my best interest at heart, and you're not gonna take my business to the street.
And the minute you do that, once you break that trust, it's over. Like, it is no, especially for a man, because for a man to take that wall down in the first place, it's already hard. So then, if you take that wall down, then they go and do something like that, hey, it's over. That man probably will never talk to anybody else for the rest of his life. So yeah, finding somebody that's trustworthy and is out for your best interest is key, because and I think that's where a man think. We think, man, everybody talk too much. I don't want everybody to know my stuff. Or I want to look strong in front of everybody. Or so yeah, man, that accountability partner, hey, be wise. But if you find the right person, I would suggest you link on to that person if they for you and you for them.
Right. Okay. So since we talked about earlier about starting businesses, creating our own with everybody, and creating a place where we can have our own store, our own own doctor's office. I just want to give you a little bit of history. We've actually had that in history. I don't know if anybody have heard of Black Wall Street, but at
Black
that
Wall
time,
Street.
Black Wall Street, they had all of these things that we desire to have. And with the times changing like they are, I believe we could get back to that. So I'm gonna give you all a brief little history, and then we can kind of talk about that, and then we can move on. But in 1921, in Greenwood, Tulsa, Oklahoma, in a section of there, Booker T. Washington declared Greenwood as Negro Wall Street, so it was considered Negro Wall Street. And then so after after I think it was either civil rights or something like that. After that, that's when they declared it Black Wall Street. And so one night, all of these businesses were destroyed, and they considered it the biggest riot in America ever. So over 600 businesses were burned to the ground. They had two theaters. They had two black schools. They had 15 doctors' offices. They had drugstores, cleaners, dance halls, pool rooms. They had everything that we need to function in today's time. Besides, technology and stuff like that. They had all
Bro,
of
I
that
saw
within
the
the black community.
planes. Yeah, like planes and stuff.
Yeah, they said I think they said it was six of them that had their own planes. Like so,
Yeah.
these people, a lot of times we push the whole slavery thing and poor thing, but at this time, this is 1921, and I believe it started in 1905 when they first started building it together, and it was built together by J.B. Strafford and O.W. Gurley. Back in 1905 and 1906, they moved to that town and they bought all of those they bought all of those all the land so that they could sell them to black people, so they could create their
Mm-hmm.
own space. And so, and its crazy part is white people were not even there yet. It started because the Indians had the black people there. And so when white people came, of course, and one great thing that I in my studying time for that, I found out that like the whites would actually borrow money from the blacks, from the black banks. And so, of
Oh
course,
wow.
with things happening like it did, with the Jim Crow laws coming into place and segregation coming along, of course, they didn't like that. And so one night there was a guy. His name was Dick Rowland. He was 19 years old, and he was working in a building where blacks could only use the bathroom on this top floor. And so he gets on the elevator, and he I don't know if he trips or the other lady who trips. I don't know if you all know anything about old elevators. They will have somebody on there to control the elevators. Like if you've ever been to like the Fox, you get on the elevator, there's actually somebody on there controlling the elevator to taking it to whatever floor
Operator.
that you're going to, operator.
Yeah.
And so there
Elevator
was a white
operator.
girl
Yeah.
elevator, yeah. There was a white girl who was the elevator operator on there, and history say he trips or something like that, and she screams.
And
And
he grabbed
so
her to hold it balanced. Was
yeah,
that the story?
something along those lines. And so when the doors open, he immediately runs off, and then they try to make it seem like he raped her. And so
Yeah.
when that happened, she didn't even press charges. She didn't even say that he did this. They pushed her to say that happened. They pushed,
Mm-hmm.
the officers pushed. So this type of stuff has been happening for a long time. So there was one more thing that happened with a black guy and a gun and a white guy and a gun. And so after that, it created a whole riot. And those racist people, I'll put it like that, they went, excuse me, and they burned down all of those businesses and homes. Over 300 people died, and thousands of people lost their homes. All of this happened with the whole Black Wall Street. It's so important that we educate ourselves, y'all. these people were rich pretty much. They had grand pianos in their houses. They had all this type of stuff. And so a lot of those white people were like, why they have that and we don't have it, you know? And so it was even said that they were taking planes and dropping kerosene bombs on the houses so they would catch fire and the businesses. And so I just wanted to say, like, you know, we kind of talked about us starting something where we can develop our own businesses and all those type of things. I just want to let you all know it's been done before, so it can be done again. But it's gonna take for yes, sir.
Yes.
So it's just gonna take for us to get over our pride, to be accountable, and be able to confide in and really use wisdom with things. You know what I'm saying? It's so important that we use
Be on one
wisdom.
accord, not none of this. I want to be the top dog. It's only one. The one thing that gets me is we think that there's only one top dog. Like we can all be on top. Like it doesn't have
You
to
know,
always be a competition. Like
I don't
you, my
understand that in
brother,
our culture.
both of us can make it. It's like there's plenty of who've made it. Like just because you made it doesn't mean that I cannot. I don't understand. There's only one at the top.
And that's definitely
We
how
can all eat.
our society is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely how our
I just want to.
society does. And we have to change that. Because if you notice, they don't
Yeah.
compare theirs like we compare ours. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were talking about how 50 Cent was trying to rival Empire at the time. And it's like, why are we doing that amongst our own people? Like, we don't have to do that. It's
Right.
okay for two different shows to be on top. It's okay to have two female black rappers that's on top.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to have two black male business owners that are on top. We don't have to compete
Right.
with one another. How about we compete with ourselves? Hey man,
Right.
yesterday I made this happen. Tomorrow I'm gonna make even more happen. Let me compete with myself so I can make things happen. You know what I'm saying? Instead of jumping
Or
on
if it
somebody
is a
else.
competition, let it be a healthy competition. Like, okay,
Right.
oh, you made $1 million. Okay, I'm gonna make $1 million, so both of us could be millionaires. Not
Right.
I'm finna turn you down so that I can get where you at. Like it
Yeah.
does not have to be a negative thing. Like let's all eat.
Let's all eat,
Like
man. Just like the meme.
I don't get it. But that's the whole thing. We want to change that, right?
We want to be
We
the
want to
only
be
one
on
that's
the
eating.
and it's I can tell you this. I bet you it's lonely at the top, and that's one thing I be thinking about. Like because let's say you are the only man on top. You if you got all the money, everybody coming to you looking for you to get them a handout. Let's say you got friends and all y'all millionaires. Then everybody out here. Oh, I'm going to Dubai this weekend. You ain't got to worry about footing the bill for everybody. We all could pay to go to Dubai.
Right.
Like it don't have to be I'm the only one rich out here. Everybody else got to be beneath me. Let's work together. I don't know if the Black Wall Street is possible, but it have. I mean, I don't know if it's like how much it takes to do it, but it's been done, which means there's a bloop somewhere.
Right.
So that means it can be done again. So
Man, we got some work to do.
a
And
lot.
I think platforms like this where people can speak out and we can speak out and we can kind of give good wisdom and knowledge. I think that
I don't know. Okay, so just like Bree said,
am
I
I
don't
back?
understand the
I think I'm back.
competition. Okay, he back. I don't understand the
Right.
competition in our society. There's room for everybody at the top, and everybody, because I'm from Midwest. Okay,
Everybody. Man, I hope you all are enjoying this conversation. I hope you all, I'm enjoying reading you all's comments. Again, if you all have questions or concerns, any of those things, you all can email us at man with three N's, man me too, at gmail.com. And we will definitely read through those questions. And when we get on here, we will try to answer those to the best of our ability. Now, one of the last things that I know I want to say is that we talked about accountability, we talked about pride, we talked about foundation. That was a great one when you touched on that earlier, because a lot of times we wanna do things, but don't have a good foundation. Like, if you don't build on a good foundation, it's going to fall. And so, but the last thing I want to
Definitely.
talk about is consistency. Like,
Yeah.
it's so important that we are consistent in whatever we do. Like, I was talking to somebody the other day, and they was like, "I don't do black-owned businesses," and I didn't agree with that, but I kind of understood why the person said it, and it's because a lot of times we're not consistent, and it's not everybody. We have some good apples in the bunch, but it's
Yeah.
always those, that one spoiled apple. It messes it up for everybody. And you go to their shop, and if you're going to get a haircut or a salon or whatever it is, they don't be on time. They come in on their phone. They take multiple breaks. But it's so many things that we do. The shop says it's supposed to open at 9 o'clock. We don't get there till 10:15. Like, it's impossible for you to start on time if you get there just on time. Like, you have to be in place. That's just like us for this live. There was no way that we could start at 7 o'clock if we got ready to do this at 7 o'clock. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so,
Right.
um, consistency is a really big component to me that I think that we need. Even with this show, we want to make sure that we're not overwhelming ourselves with this, but we want to be consistent with this so you all can have something that you all know. Okay, they're gonna be coming on, such time on Thursdays, whenever it is. We want to make sure that we're consistent with that. And since this is our new business that we're doing, we're not, of course, not getting any money for it yet, but
Yeah.
we want to be
Get that
consistent.
thing.
And even with that being said, you got to be consistent even when you're not getting paid.
Yeah.
I think that's a real big one right there. That's just like at the churches that I lead worship at. I was consistent, and I was diligent, and I was giving the same level, or of what I do even when I wasn't getting paid. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And it's like the Bible says your gift will make room for you. And once you use that gift, it will make room for you. You won't have to, overwhelm yourself. You won't have to do so much, but you got to stay consistent, and you got to still do things in a diligent way. What you got to say there,
Yeah.
Carl?
Yeah. Because, uh, like you said, your gifts to make room for you, but listen, your gift to carry you somewhere where your character ain't gonna keep you if you ain't consistent in that process. If you not if it's not something that you trained yourself by doing it multiple times, by being faithful to it, it it's not gonna last, because the minute somebody say something that you don't agree with about you, or the minute you get a bad review or this or that, you got nothing to fall back on, because you that process and that consistency wasn't there in order for you to stand on. Oh, I know for sure I do this, this, and this to ensure that I'm giving you the best product or the best service. Uh, so yeah, being faithful to what you do is very important. I kind of lost my train of thought, but yeah, like that consistency is key in building anything. Because if you, if I want to go back to the point where like this black business get lumps into one thing. Like you said, the person said, I don't support black business because they late or whatever the excuse is. But like why when we do something, like one bad apple ruins it for everybody. Like that one company that may do something that may not be good turns into all black businesses do that.
You know, I think our
All
society of people have really learned how to do that, and I don't agree with it. Like, you know, even after, you know, even when it comes to dating, I've heard several black men, of course we have our opinions on black women, but a lot of them will date someone, they be like, man, I'm tired. Or even women, they be like, I done had this dude. I'm tired of that black dude. I'm tired. I'm a date outside my race now. And it's like everybody's not the same. Every man is not the same. Every woman is not the same. You know what I'm saying? And every
yeah.
business is not the same. And we don't do that to the other businesses. You know what I'm saying? We
We
don't say,
don't do
well,
that
I'm not going to.
to McDonald's or Walmart. Like we don't do that to none of them.
We
Like
just don't go back to that one.
right, right. So I just don't agree with the generalization of black people. Like period. Like we already get generalized outside of us already. Like
We shouldn't do it to each other.
why do it to ourselves? Like
Yeah.
I that just
But if we're gonna
sad
say
to
that
me.
we gotta change, we have to change our mindsets. We have to come
True.
up to another level of excellence, if that makes sense. Like we
Mm-hmm.
we 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 can't go into things with our hands out, looking for a
Right.
handout. Like we
There
can't
definitely
go
has
into
to
it,
be a
and
standard.
because a lot of times I've seen black businesses, they get mad because people don't support them, but it's like you're not even positioning yourself in excellence. Like
Mm-hmm.
you got to position yourself in excellence. Like
Yeah.
you have to educate yourself. You have to learn as much as you can about whatever you're trying to do. So when you get into those bigger arenas, you know what you're talking about. You know how to function. So shout out to everybody that's been on this live. I From what I've
Right.
seen, we had a couple entrepreneurs and black business owners on here, and I just want to say I'm so very much proud of you all. Continue on, hang in there. I know this pandemic has been rough. I know some people may have taken a hit,
Mm-hmm.
but we bound. One thing I do know about black people, we know how to survive, and we know how to bounce
Resilient.
back. We're resilient, yes, and we know how to make it through anything. So I just want to
Right.
say, hang on in there. Don't quit. I ain't got the shirt on today, but don't quit. Um, and really just continue on even in those hard times, because hard times are going to come, and no matter
Yep.
what businesses you have, or no matter what endeavors you have, even in life, we're going to have some bad days. We're going to
Yep.
have some down moments. We're going to have some discouraging moments. We're going to have some sad times. Anybody that tell you, oh man, if you do this, you're going to just be happy forever. If that was the case, you wouldn't have so many people who are wealthy, who have achieved great success in the business, and still contemplate suicide, or contemplate actually doing it, or actually do it. Like, there's so many people that,
Mm-hmm.
so you're not going to just be happy with everything. And so we have to learn how to function in the midst of adversity, and learn how to hang in there, because it's not easy. It's not easy at all.
It's definitely not easy. I don't know if you had this one, but I know we touched on this. When it comes to supporting black businesses, we always get hit with the "Come on, brother, come on, the
Oh
the
man,
the the
give me a
hit
discount,
me with
man.
hit me with that discount." Like if you're gonna support, you not always walking in uh Walmart looking for trying to negotiate a price on something. Like you ain't walking into the polo store trying to negotiate a price on something. Like, come on,
Say that, sir.
if we gonna really be here for each other, let's truly be here for each other. Like don't get me wrong, we as a business make decisions it's our business. So like if that's what it is, like if I got somebody who I'm like, all right, I'm gonna bless them with this or bless them with, but to always get the hand, like looking for the handout every time or the discount or the low price. Come on, man, that gets old as running a business. So what you think about that?
You could say all that again, man, because that's one thing I have seen in black businesses. I've seen in my own businesses. I do a couple things, you know. People always want a deal, and
Yep.
I get it. Well, even when we go to the store, you know, you kind of want to look for. I know me. I look for things on the clearance rack. You know,
Yeah.
but one thing I'm not going to do is if something is a certain price, I'm not gonna go to the teller or the counter and be like, "Hey man, this is $20. How about you give it to me for $15.99? Or how about you give
You
it to
got a
me for
coupon
10?"
back there I can
You got
use?
to, yeah, right. We have to learn if we're going to support one another. Yeah, you may have to pay a little bit more for it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Um, uh, a lot of times we're making it ourselves, we're building it ourselves, we're putting it together ourselves. And in order for us to get some type of to make some type of money off of it, we may have to charge a little more than what you see in the store. And
Yeah, because
so,
Walmart ordering orders of million items at a time, and
right,
they getting them at a penny per item. Like we not afforded to order things in that matter. Like or so you can't always compare a small business to these big corporations. Like it's not apples to apples. So for you to expect us to always match uh, a big corporation price, that's not gonna happen until we get to that point where we the big corporation. Then
right,
hey, you never know what
right.
happens. So
If we keeping the money in our own space, then maybe we can do that, you know.
right,
Um, I will say though, people buy what they want to buy.
that's definitely true.
I've seen it time after time. I've seen people who are who may say I'm broke and I ain't got no money, but you see them with them Jordans on, the latest ones
Hey,
at
how you get
that.
them J's? How you get them J's? You just talk about how you couldn't pay this bill the other week, man.
Right. So people do pay for what they want. So we have to stop you know, getting mad because people's prices are what they are. I mean, don't get me wrong, some people's prices are outrageous. But hey, if you really want to support, you wouldn't mind. I know I wouldn't. I wouldn't mind, you know, sewing it to somebody. I don't. A lot of times, I don't care what the price is for stuff. Yeah, I know I can go to McDonald's and get something off the dollar menu. But if one of my people are selling plates and if they was $15, $20, I'm not tripping off a price. I'm not like, man, I can go get this from McDonald's. Or I can go get this. Like, it's not about that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
It's
so I think
not.
we have to get past that in order for us to really see that level of success happen amongst our people and growth to happen.
I like that.
Okay,
It's it.
Bree says, I also think it is important for people not to be mad if a person decides not to support a business. What if it goes against their beliefs, or what if it's just not something someone wants? You can support by spreading the word. That is very true. That
It's
is
definitely
that is
true.
very
Yeah.
true. Yeah,
Mhm.
that is definitely
I,
true.
I I agree with that because I mean it's a lot of stuff people do that I probably would never use the service, but if I come across somebody who looking for that, that's gonna be the first thing I say. Oh, I know this local person who do this. I talk to people about stuff. Oh yeah, this local person I know they do that, and I give them the business page or whatever. But just because it's not something I need or want or whatever doesn't mean I'm just gonna tear it down or talk against it or
Mhm.
it just may not be for you.
And
So
even
that's
going
good.
with that level of excellence, and in order to get people to really kind of want to buy from you, we have to also stop guinea pigging on people. Trying to, if it's not something that you do or you're, you're good at, it's okay to say,
Mhm.
I'm not, really an expert at this, but hey, I do know Carl who is, good at such, and he can. That's another way for us to kind of push each other's business. Because you may not be
Right.
the best at, you know what I'm saying? You may be good at making flyers, but you're not good at motion videos. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's okay to
Hmm.
say that instead of trying to take somebody's money knowing that you're really not that good at it. And you kind of guinea pigging them and just trying to make something happen, and then they're mad because it's not the quality that they really want.
Yep.
And so we have to really kind of educate ourselves and really practice our craft, whatever it is, whatever your craft is. We want to make sure that we're the best at it, and
Yep.
we put our best foot forward, because that's the only way for us. Because one thing I do know, word of mouth is the best advertisement. We got
It
all these
definitely
social
is.
media platforms, and it can get across for thousands of people, but it's something about the word of mouth. It's something about that testimony. Man, have you tried Designs by Davis? They make shirts. They got this, they got that. Then that person is gonna be more reluctant to kind of reach out to you versus
Mhm.
seeing a post on Facebook.
Right. Just
So
some random post with no substance behind it. Because if you know this person and you know how they operate, that kind of speaks for you. Like if they live a certain type of way or they carry themselves a certain type of way and they speak highly of you, that's a good recommendation just based off of them.
right.
Um, so yeah, word of mouth is key. But I like that comment because support is not always getting $1 from somebody. Like
That's true.
them helping you by spreading your name is also support.
That is
Because
very true.
we do the opposite of that really well. Like tear each other down. Like,
Hmm.
oh, I wouldn't go there. Oh, that's a black business or this or that. Like, so spreading people like the good news of black businesses is also support. So let's not mistake if you don't buy from somebody that's not support.
Okay, so in closing, guys, I want to offer you all a challenge. I want you all to go find a black owned business, and I want you all to support them in any kind of way that you can. Somebody put there's many forms of support, and it's true. I want you all to support some type of way, whether it's making a donation. Everybody got cash up nowadays. So it's easier to kind of get money around. Um, or share their flyer. It may not even be somebody who you actually bought anything from or given anything to. But let's find some type of way to support one another. I'm gonna leave you all with this quote. It's easy to burn the house down. It's easy to knock the house down, but it's not easy to build the house up. So that means it's just going. It takes effort. It takes a conscious mind to build something up. It's easy for me to knock my brother down. It's easy for me to talk about him, put him down. But it takes a person who has a good heart to build my
Yep.
brother up. So I want you all to take that on for the rest of this week, for the and the rest of this month. Let's make this build up my neighbor month, some type of way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Go ahead,
And
Corey.
I want to take the challenge a little bit further. Like if you know a business, a local business, black owned, shoot us an email because we actually want to spotlight local black owned business in our area. So if like y'all could shoot us, hey, I know this person doing this well. I know this company doing this real well. Shoot us an email. We'll pick you or one or two every time we come on. We'll spotlight them. Um, whatever that looks like, and spotlight them, just so we can start spreading this word as and start this fire and get as big as we can get it.
Yes, sir. So, hopefully you all have enjoyed this tonight. We've enjoyed the chat with you all.
I
We
thank
appreciate
everybody
you
for
all.
coming out, man. Yeah.
Yeah. We really appreciate you all. And this thing is gonna get deeper and deeper. We're gonna go into some more stuff. We're gonna go into some things that us as men really need to dig into. So we want you all to tune in each time, even if we get to the point where we're pre-recording and uploading, and or if we do something with multiple people, we want you all to continue to show your support to us, because one thing about it, we don't know everything. We don't have the answers to everything, and I don't think we want to approach it like we have the answers to everything. But one thing I do understand is the more conversation we have, the more healing can take place. So as long as
Yep.
we putting the conversation out there and we're having the conversation, I believe somebody's getting healed through what we're talking about. Somebody's being enlightened through what we're talking about. Somebody's having that aha moment, like, man, I never thought of it that way. And so I think as long as we continue to have the conversation, I think we're gonna be all right. We
Yep.
appreciate you
Build
all
that community.
so much. So Carl, go ahead before we get off. Give the people how they can contact you or your business.
You could contact my business through Facebook. Our page is Designed by Davis. We don't just do T-shirts, but I don't know
They
if y'all
sure
can
don't.
read
They
that.
do all
But,
type of stuff.
we could do. Hey, listen, if you want us to design your forehead, we could do that. Okay. Um, uh, but yeah, we specialize in like customizing things, but that's not all we do. If you got an idea, uh, we'll try it. We'll listen. If we're not doing it at the moment, we probably will once you ask. Okay, so Designs by Davis on Facebook, Designs by Davis on Instagram. Um, Listen, I'm not the social media man, but uh,
Me neither.
if you look up Designs by Davis, we might just come up. You can email us at daviscreations0525 at gmail.com if you need anything or you want to see if we make anything, or Facebook Messenger. So, yeah, that's where we are right now.
All right. And so if you all want to reach me, you all can look me up on any of the social medias, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, under Scooter Lamont. On all of them, it's the same. I thought it was important to make all of them the same because I'm already not that great with social media, and so it's Scooter Lamont. You all can go to my YouTube channel. I believe that's Scooter Lamont as well. Go type in Scooter Lamont on YouTube and type in "Don't Quit." You'll see my video. You all can go support over there. I'm also a part of a label called Me Too Music, and you all can go and support there as well. You can go to my website. I have a website. It's metoomusic.com/Scooter Lamont. If you all want to purchase my music, you all can go on there and you all can download my song. You all can share it. You can watch different video clips. I got pictures and everything on there. But I thank you all so much for logging in and being a part of what we do. Also, we want you all to go to YouTube again on under Man with 3 N's, Mannn Me Too. And we want you all to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that you all can be notified anytime we put up content. And last thing, if you all have any questions or anything, or like you said, any businesses, Black-owned businesses, send us an email at mannme2@gmail.com. Mannme2@gmail.com. So that's all we got for today. Thank you all again for participating in our second episode of Mannn Me Too. Peace.
Peace out.